Okay, if you thought things couldn't actually get any worse for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, if you thought Disney and Marvel couldn't continue on the current trajectory after recent cinematic and TV failures, think again. This article is from comicbookmovie.com. X-Men reboot rumoured to be female-focused, with Mr. Sinister as the main villain. A script hasn't been written yet, obviously, but according to insider Daniel Richtman, the initial idea is to focus more on the female members of the team. Kevin Feige is believed to want to make the movie as different to the 20th Century Fox franchise as possible, which also means no Magneto for the time being. The main villain is said to be Mr. Sinister. Again, it's very early days, and even if these details are accurate, they will likely be subject to change once the script begins to take shape. Oh dear. Now, one can only hope that this rumour is based on perhaps older plans and not current plans, because really Disney and Marvel needed to have learned from the failures of the MCU, which began in Phase 4 and has reached catastrophic levels of stunning and brave by Phase 5 now, culminating in the box office collapse of the Marvels. And that's surely a movie to learn lessons from, particularly in this instance, alright, because that was an all-female superhero movie. But if this rumour turns out to be true, then it means that they're stridently and defiantly marching forward with the same losing formula. I mean, you almost have to admire the consistency and determination of it all, right? It's like they think that if they just keep delivering the same unpopular product over and over, that unhappy audiences will just one day change their minds for no reason and start loving it all of a sudden. So it looks like the future X-Men films will be female-focused. Okay, so as Ryan Kinnell pointed out in his video about this recently, there's really no need to do this, because the X-Men universe already has some fantastic female characters who are strong and compelling and interesting in their own right. Okay, and they were already given a significant position and presence in the X-Men films without having to give them even more of a disproportionate amount of screen time. Right? There's characters like Mystique, Storm, Jean Grey, Rogue, Kitty Pryde, and others. And to be fair, I actually think that, as evidenced in the X-Men films, I think the female characters in the X-Men universe were actually more interesting than the MCU female characters. But as I said before, if Disney Marvel continues to double down on the political direction that they've been taking in their movies, despite the cinema-going public's growing discontent and negative reaction to it all, and despite the recent box office failures as well, then it shows that the primary purpose of making these films cannot be profit-driven. It has to be first and foremost about communicating the message, which means the films are little more than political platforms. So it all stops being about filmmaking and just becomes a form of activism. And finally, the idea of rebooting the X-Men and incorporating it into the MCU is just kind of redundant now at this point. The X-Men movies were their own separate thing, and they worked well in their own right. Bringing them and the likes of Fantastic Four and Blade into the MCU just feels like a desperate attempt to keep the MCU going, as if it's like an old steam locomotive train that was starting to run low on coal and about to stutter to a halt. So now they're just shoveling in any old fuel source they can get their hands on to keep the fire burning and the train moving. Was that metaphor a little bit over the top? I don't know. Regardless, the X-Men series was already rebooted with a prequel series, and that was also concluded. At least with the MCU's first 3 phases, it really felt like there was a reason for the franchise to move forward, to continue, because it was building towards an epic conclusion with Endgame. But after that ended, there's no longer anything novel or exciting to look forward to, other than, of course, rehashing characters, stories, and situations that we've already seen depicted just a few short years earlier. Oh dear, indeed. Thank you very much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.